Taste, man. Here, let's do the rankings of the 8 bands that I saw in concert yesterday, day 2 of the Railbird 2025 Music Festival, on bands I saw on Sunday. So I only saw 8, whereas I saw double digits on Saturday. That's because my son, Taste Man Jr. and I, we wanted to get good spots for some of the bands we really want to see. So we'll start with the worst of the day in my rankings. Number 8, Bindigo Fletcher. They were in the 512 songs tournament. My sister-in-law is cousins with their drummer. I met several of his family members. They opened for My Morning Jacket. They were on the Burl stage, which is a stage that I love because it's a shaded stage at Railbird. The reason why they come in 8th is they're just so mellow, They were relaxing, but just the most mellow of the day, which can be a good thing, but I wasn't feeling it. Number 7 was also on the Burl stage, a stage that I love, but it's Jesse Wells. He had a whole lot of Bob Dylan to him. He really shined when he would do solo material. He's very witty. He's got some of that Todd Snyder storyteller to him. Number 6, this artist, the number 6 artist, Ryan Bingham, he's on Yellowstone. People know him from that, but I know him back when he had Mescalito put out. I used to street team for Lost Highway Records. We'd hand out stickers and posters at shows, for like him, Hayes Carl, Johnny Cash, Ryan Adams, bands like that, Lucinda Williams. So it's actually the first time I've seen Ryan Bingham. They're really slick. They looked like professional musicians. Everybody's outfit was choreographed and, tailored. Everything fit. They were fancy. They were sleek. They had, top of the line music equipment. They were tight. It was good, but the sun was blazing, and number 5 was better. Number 5, Riley Green. Not my cup of tea. It's more on the bro country side than I generally lean towards. But he really got the crowd engaged. The crowd was super excited about him. At one point, Blackberry Smoke was playing, and he was playing the song Sign, which I think's probably his best song. Talking about, putting Jesus Saves on a sign, talking about the crisis of homelessness. But anyway, he's playing that, just he and his acoustic guitar, and he said it was really hard to play while Blink-182 was playing. Who's Blink-182? Is Blackberry Smoke, playing on a smaller stage, and they were much louder than Riley, because Riley Green was on the Elkhorn stage, which gets overpowered even when you don't have a heavier Southern rock band playing at the same time as you. But Riley, really, he got a lot of audience participation. There were some gym bros that were wearing my son and I out because they just were screaming to each other. Like, they weren't screaming lyrics. I can handle that. People celebrating the songs. They were just screaming, just chatting, and I'm like, why are you even at the show? But it is what it is. They were having a good time, but they were impeding on the good time of others. Is that where you at shows when you go to a concert and just people are constantly having like conversations, not about the music, just like conversations at super loud volumes? I mean, a lot of sets are loud enough to where it can drown that out, but that wasn't the case. Number 4 was also at the Burl stage, and it was the first act we saw of the day, and we got there really early to see him. From Lexington, Kentucky, Mojo Thunder. They were the heaviest band of the day. There's a whole lot of like music, like Wolf Mother. My list just flew off. There we go. High tech. And I didn't pause it because YouTube won't let me post like 2 videos and edit it and all that stuff. So that's just one take. We're just gonna let it ride. I'm not very fancy. So number 4 is Mojo Thunder, hometown boys. Heavy rock. I wouldn't say that they're metal, but they have metal moments. Classic, like 60s, 70s, throwback, modern throwback. It reminded me a lot of Wolf Mother, The Who. Hear a whole lot of Who in there, but they just put on a great set. Just really good energy. And their bassist, he couldn't stop smiling. He smiled through the entire set. He was just, I could tell he was having a blast playing, hometown crowd, Railbird. Number 3, another Kentucky band, Old 60, also on the Burl stage. We have a theme here. Old 60 really brought it. They have a small catalog. I think they've only got about a dozen songs. But man, when they play those songs, it's phenomenal. The song about the preacher give you chills. Lead singer said that the first music festival he'd ever attended was Railbird, and he was literally brought to tears thinking about how his band was not only playing Railbird but playing at the Burl stage, because he said he camped out at the Burl stage for the entire Railbird festival. He probably saw Justin Wells. I was probably there with him. There's a lot of dudes in Kentucky that look like the lead singer of Old 60, just like there's a lot of dudes in Kentucky that look like Josh Malloy. But speaking of Kentucky and looking like Kentucky, their bassist had on a throwback UK Wildcat shirt, but it wasn't as cool as the lead singer's shirt. He had a Nutmeg Mills shirt from the 90s with all the cursive font. And people my age remember Nutmeg Mills was like, elite sports fan apparel back in the early 90s. You could buy it like Dillard's and Sears, J.C. Penney. That's the kind of thing. My grandma, she would get me some nice things every now and then. She got me a couple of Nutmeg Mills shirts at Turfland Mall in Lexington, Kentucky. Those from Lexington that are watching this video, you remember Turfland Mall? It was a pretty iconic part of my upbringing, kind of like Stranger Things. Younger generation, you can watch Stranger Things, but malls were a big deal for people in my age demographic. Anyway, Old 60, great music. When they're playing soft, they're great. When they're heavy, they're great. He talked about folks that are navigating substance misuse issues, and I think the song "Insane," and just a beautiful set, just a great set. Number 2, the second best performer of yesterday at Railbird, Red Clay Strays. Now, I saw Red Clay Strays last year, Bourbon and Beyond, and they were on one of the side stages, and I was over getting a Bulgogi bowl, and literally Red Clay Strays started playing when I was getting my bowl, and the crowd got so packed that I was like pinned up towards where the food vendor was, and like I just had to turn around and eat my Bulgogi, and like no one was budging. And then for a stage is probably set to accommodate 10 or 15,000 people, it seemed like they had about 80,000 strong over there. So Red Clay Strays really brought it at Bourbon and Beyond. I hadn't listened to them at all. I still haven't listened to them a lot since then, because they don't sound near as good to me, recorded version as opposed to live. They're just so good live. They're the best sounding band of the day, best production. Everything was crystal clear and crisp. They've got the drip, as punk rock MBA would say. They have the southern music drip. They have the fancy jewelry from the 70s, like the turquoise, and then they got the gold bracelets and the gold watch with the expandable bands, and of course their lead singer. Depending on what song he's playing, he looks like a young Johnny Cash or a young Jerry Lee Lewis, depending on whether or not he's at the piano or up with his beautiful Gretsch hollow-bodied guitar. But they're just so impressive live. Just resonate, and they're a treat. So if you get an opportunity to see Red Clay Strays live, I definitely recommend that, as well as the #1 overall band from yesterday. Now everybody knows Jelly Roll is the main headliner of the entire festival, and Jelly Roll is not #1. #1 for me is who the headliner was for my son Tasteman Jr.'s Treaty Oak Revival. They were easily the #1 band that I saw yesterday. I'm a metalhead, so they had plenty for metalheads to enjoy, including the drummer. The drummer of Treaty Oak Revival was wearing a System of a Down Toxicity shirt, so of course that immediately got my attention. And their lead singer had on a great old timers hat with tons and tons of sweat stains on it, and I never could really figure out what the hat was, but I don't know if he picked it up at a thrift shop or if it's his grandpa's hat, but that hat's been through some stuff. Their bass player, speaking of drip, Punk Rock NBA will love this. Their bass player, I mean, he had the most drip of the entire festival. He had like a green and maybe navy flannel shirt with the sleeves cut out. Then he had on hand-cut jorts, and he also had on some green and white like Nike skateboarding shoes. I mean, he had the dad fashion down just tight as could be. Just a phenomenal band. They were electric, you know, just really good. They had like GNR energy, early GNR, back when I saw them in the 90s, not this current iteration, which is a shell of what they used to be. But, you know, their music's good, it's energetic, the singer appears to interconnect with the crowd. Now, they didn't spray any beer on us. That would have made it better, and I hear they do that sometimes. But Treaty Oak Revival, get a chance to see them. Don't miss out on that. If you like Southern rock, if you like bands like Skinnerd, you're gonna love Treaty Oak Revival. They brought it. The guitars, sometimes their solos remind me of Randy Rhoads. I think I've said that in the 512 Songs Tourney, which they're in there, and they're probably staying there for a minute because they're a great band. But yeah, so that's my rankings of the bands I saw yesterday at the second day of Railbird. Tell me your rankings. Who's number one for you? Who was the worst for you? Did you find the Elkhorn stage underwhelming sound-wise? Did you stay for the headliner, Jelly Roll? Are you a big Jelly Roll fan? Did you like any of the bands I saw? Let me know. Cheers.